Helldivers 2 has a massive dev issue. Developers in this game do not know how to handle their own game, apparently, and it's become an increasingly large and larger problem as time continues since its release day. Then obviously things need to be fixed, and it's a problem that helps the player base stay alive in a positive state, because otherwise it's kind of a cesspool of negativity. We see it in the Steam reviews as well. I've changed my review from positive to negative multiple times throughout the course of the game's lifespan so far, and now it's back to negative because our voices need to be heard. I'm gonna get into some of these points on why I'm infuriated and mad, and how Arrowhead has monkeys in their headquarters that don't know how to prioritize their own game. Arguably so, we play the game more than they ever did, and it shows. It shows, and it's so fucking infuriating. Let's get into it. Hellpod steering. Hellpod steering has been fucking broken forever. They have they had a ship upgrade that allowed you to steer better, and it worked. And then all of a sudden they wanted to strip it away, and that was near the beginning of the game's life cycle. Why was it ever removed? Why do they refuse to fix something as simple as Hellpod steering when it's in the game as an upgrade? Why have they not fixed it? Are they just reluctant that they don't see it as a priority when it's like a fundamental baseline thing that the game offers? Sometimes you can't control where you're gonna go. And then you get revived, and it's nowhere near the beacon that the player that revived you even is. So that's just an issue. You can land in the middle of a group of automatons, bugs, and you just die immediately because obviously the team, they're gonna throw all the stratagems in that crowd, and then you're dead the moment you spawn back in, or the enemies just outright kill you. Oh, and another thing is, another fundamental that's missing in this game is reloading. The team reloading, ever since the beginning, needed a workaround. It needed to be reworked. I do not know why team reloading works the way it does work. Yeah, you have to have a backpack yourself in order to reload. Why do we need that? That was never the case in Helldivers 1. Anybody could have helped assisted a reload in Helldivers 1. Why did they decide somehow it made more sense to have something in the back of you, yoink it out, and then reload it when you could just have it on the other person's back already, get it, and reload it? They're right next to each other. I think they're worried it might just cause imbalance, because honestly, if team reloading worked that way, it would be more efficient and fun to do if it changed the way that I wanted it to. And they're just worried fun, basically too much fun, too much efficiency, not the Helldivers way. They don't want that. For some reason, the developers, Arrowhead, they refuse to acknowledge this. In any capacity, they refuse to acknowledge that this fundamental piece of Helldivers could make it better, and then they choose to go in the opposite direction and say fuck you out of spite. I feel like it's just out of spite at this moment that they are just not changing that. Helldivers also has a progression system issue. For one, I don't know why they put a cap on level. Why keep it at level 150? It's been like that for forever already. Why do they stifle progression even if it's in the simplest form possible? Why stop at 150? Why not let that number go to like literally 300, 500, 1,000? Why not just let it continue on forever? Why not just have it keep going? That keeps players interested in your game to keep playing, because if they see number go up, I think that is receptive to some sort of dopamine receptor that you have in your head. Why not just let the players have that, you know? Instead, they want to cap it at 150, and they let their players be like, well, there's nothing else for me to do, and they log off. Same thing for the samples, requisitions. We should be able to use super samples, our samples overall, and our requisitions to upgrade our weapons, do customization like armor recoloring, and switch resource management, and recycle what you do for customization options in the game, or maybe like make temporary stratagems available. If you spent that amount of currency, you can use it in the next game. They refuse to acknowledge this system, and they keep it as is, And what that's doing is capped. You can't do anything with what you are capped with, and you just log off because there's no purpose in playing. You don't earn anything. You don't earn anything. There's no reason to keep playing if you're just capped on everything and there's nothing to use the currency on. When it comes to these certain topics, it's baffling. It is baffling. I can't seem to make sense of why they prioritize shitting out Warbon after Warbon, prioritize fixing bugs that don't even get fixed. They don't. They say they fix it, and then it just never fucking gets fixed. And what they do is just useless, like mojang employees that do nothing all day. Also, I have the stim pistol right now in this game. Stim pistol, why doesn't it have a homing feature? We have a homing pistol already. Why don't they just fix the stim pistol to be homing as well? Why are they refusing to do that? It would be just a simple fix. It would affect the quality of life of using this damn thing much more better. Because I swear, I aim at a teammate and that shit does not hit them at all. It does not register. Make the stim pistol homing. Arrowhead. Why do you not do these things that make the game good and fun? Arrowhead, you hate fun. Arrowhead does not know how to handle their game, and it sucks, and you can see it like every single game that you play. You cannot escape the quality of life issues that Helldivers 2 has, and they drastically need to be modified and changed as soon as they can, because if they don't, a lot of players are just going to keep falling out of their game. They're going to keep complaining about all these issues and technical glitches and issues that prevent the game from just being fun and as great as it honestly could. Right now, it is suffering from severe quality of life issues that make the game really annoying and frustrating to play. Unfortunately, Arrowhead is never going to address all these issues that are in their game unless they have an increasingly negative review score on the Steam page. Once they see that, guess what? We actually got a response on the subreddit, on the Discord. We got responses for them. Unfortunately, we need to affect their bottom line. If more players are not going to buy their game for the future and they're not getting that constant source of revenue, you know, then they have to respond to us and fix the issues that that need to be addressed from the community. They have things on the bug fixing list, and then they choose not to fix them. And guess what they do instead? They push out another Warbond for the next month. In what world does that make sense to focus on every Warbond per month and just kind of shitting out content and slop that arguably could just wait for like the next 2 or 3 months? You know, we don't need a Warbond every month. I don't think that's really needed. So overall, that's about all I have for today. See you guys next time whenever I want to upload and complain about Arrowhead a bit more or some other game. We'll see. Ciao.